When I was about 12, my parents went away for a function, so my brother and I had the house to ourselves. We got pizza and watched movies and had the best day ever, along with our adorable German Shepherd dog called Chaka. When it got dark, some boys from school showed up at our front gate calling for me. My brother stayed inside, peeking through the curtains as I went outside to greet them. I knew them well from school and was puzzled by their appearance, since kids didn't usually go out in the neighborhood after dark. There was an older guy, about 19 or 20, with them that immediately made me feel uncomfortable. He leaned against our fence and eyed my body, biting his lower lip. One of the boys hurriedly said it was one of his cousins and I should ignore him. "Come out with us," the boy said. "We want to show you something." "No, it is late," I replied, remembering how I boasted at school that I'd be home alone. "Okay, we have something for you," the other boy said as he turned around and got something that he had hidden behind the lamppost. He returned with a brown bottle filled with liquid, with the label removed. It was already open. "Here, drink this." "No," I said, and they just kept insisting I drink it, saying it wasn't that strong, tasted good, and that I'd be fine. My heart was beating in my chest. I felt nervous as the older guy kept looking at my bare legs, playing with the latch on the fence door. Suddenly Chaka, our dog, appeared from behind me and planted his bottom on my feet. He was a huge, wolf-like dog, and this low, deep rumble started to grow louder and louder as he growled. He stared the guy down, who hastily let go of the latch and backed away. The two boys also backed off quickly. It was as if Chaka sensed my fear and came to give me his strength. He would fight for me. I told them to go away and leave. I didn't want to drink their stuff. My dog sat like a statue on my feet until he disappeared back into the darkness. My brother said he was watching the entire time for any signs of trouble and couldn't believe how brave Chaka had been. When my dad heard about it, he gave Chaka a big steak as a reward. Chaka was my guardian angel. I still love him and think of him. He died in 2008. What could have happened if he weren't there? It was 1977. I had taken time off work to have a baby and stay home with her. But I still needed an income, so my mother had hired my younger sister and me to do the dirty, back-breaking work in her shop while she took care of her first infant granddaughter. My sister and I were working at our mom's antique store one summer day. Mom had just gotten a truckload of European oak furniture that needed to be cleaned and polished, have the handles screwed on, and so forth. A nice-looking young man came into the store and started talking to my sister, who was 17 at the time. He introduced himself as Ted Smith, and we laughed and said we must be related as Mom's maiden name was Smith also. He chatted both of us up, but focused on Sis for the most part. He purchased an armoire, but said he'd have to go get his truck, since at the moment he was driving his VW Bug, an old VW Bug. He then asked my sister and me if we wanted to go out to dinner that night with him. We were sweaty and dirty from work. I had a baby to care for, and Sis already had a boyfriend, so we said thanks, but no thanks, Ted. He asked me to ride with him to get his truck so he could drop his Bug off at the auto shop for repairs, but by that point I had to get home to my infant right away because I was still nursing her and I thought my breasts were going to begin leaking at any minute. However, he wouldn't give up trying to get one or both of us away from the shop. He said he could come back about 10 o'clock that evening for his armoire and asked whether one or both of us be there. We replied, "No, we close the shop at 6, and we both have places to be tonight." He was persistent. "How about tomorrow night?" "No, we close at 6 o'clock, except on Saturdays, when we close at 4 o'clock. He asked whether one of us could meet him early in the morning, like at 5:30 a.m., but neither of us wanted to. He was getting to be a bit creepy, and Sis and I were eye-rolling at each other. Eventually, he said he was sorry, but he couldn't buy the armoire if we couldn't be flexible. We hated to give up the sale, but after he had been there for 2 hours, we thought he was just looking and taking up our time. We still had a lot of work to do on the furniture that had just arrived in the shop. Finally, we just wanted to finish our work and go home. At 6 p.m., as we were leaving, his VW Bug was parked outside, and he asked us whether we want to go for coffee. He especially wanted my sister to go. We said, "Thanks, Ted, but no thanks. Like we said earlier, we have plans," but he continued to be insistent. Finally I said, "Sis, let's go. I'll take you home." Even though she had her car there, for some reason I didn't want to leave her to drive home alone with this guy around. So he drove off in his Bug, and we really didn't think of it again. Me and my friend had a creepy experience. It's a Halloween true story. Anyways, here it is. Me and my friend, who I won't say their name, were going to a haunted house in our area. It was crazy because we never actually went inside of a haunted house. It was always usually the normal trick or treating. We were both 11 at the time. So we were walking to the haunted house. When we had finally arrived, it was creepy as hell. It looked very realistic, and I knew that these people spent a lot of time into the haunted house. It was a maze-like haunted house. You had to find your way out in darkness. When we were inside, my friend decided that she wouldn't go ahead in first, and that I would have to lead the way. I felt annoyed, but it was fine. It was very dark, and I couldn't see well. A fake Michael Myers-looking guy scared the sh*t out of me. Then there was a basement, which I sadly didn't know about as I tumbled down the stairs. They never told you how to get out, so I assumed you'd have to find a door. My friend saw a door which seemed to be a way out. She opened it, and I followed after her. It wasn't that good of a discovery though, as we saw some dark red in the door, which had a light on. We both ran out of there ASAP. I legit was scared of being in there now. I then saw another guy who said he found the way out. Me and my friend both went out and thanked the guy nicely. We were then walking home disturbed, but relieved that we got out of there. We then saw a guy pull up saying he had candy in his car. I was very stupid back then, and I decided to follow, while my friend went along too. When we made it to his car, he opened the trunk of it and had a lot of candy in there. I was so happy and wanted as much of it as possible. He then said this, "I have a lot more in my house, you two want to go?" We were total nincompoops and went around by the side door when my friend spotted about 4 other men inside of the car, some with creepy looking smiles, and they were the creepiest looking guys I ever saw. Yellow teeth, most with balding black or brown hair. A bald guy with a tattoo on his neck. My friend got scared and ran away. I followed her, and the car followed behind us. The car decided to go slowly, but make sure it could see us. I assumed to not look suspicious. I then decided to run into the woods to hide, because we were in a dead-end street at that point. My friend went behind some bushes. I came up with an idea, and I'll forever thank the game hide and seek for this. I told my friend to come next to me, and I let her down under a bunch of branches. It was different because these branches surrounded the area, and they were dipped down from a small hill on a rocky-ish surface, almost like a small cave. I then grabbed other branches to surround us completely, to the point where we would be nearly, if not even impossible, to see from a nearby angle. We both heard footsteps and held our breath. We then saw feet right next to us, but go down the hill. We heard other footsteps go farther, farther, and farther. When we couldn't hear them anymore, we both removed the branches as quickly as we could and sprinted to my house. We called the police, but couldn't do much since we didn't get the license plate. So we just dropped the whole thing and moved on. That was easily the scariest moment in my life. This moment hasn't ruined Halloween for me though, and I still love the holiday. I'm sure I'll never forget this moment though.